Okay, so in this video, what we're going to cover is recoding values. This is a particularly useful function, especially when we're dealing with categorical variables where, for some reason or another, multiple strings or symbols have been used to represent the same idea. So I'm looking at here the students data set that we've been playing with recently, and I've modified it a little bit so that the sex column has multiple representations for the notion of male versus female. So for instance, looking at Alice, female, all capital letters, Elizabeth, female with title case letters. And what we want to do here is to show how JMP can handle getting all of these to a common representation. Very easy. So let's go in, grab the data, and under columns we have a utilities, which actually, sorry, let me grab the column. Utilities, recode, bring it up, and you can see that all the various representations for things now are showing up. And the way in which JMP allows us to do this is basically we can create a new value for any one of these things. So let's say for the sake of argument we want to replace all of the values that are representing the notion of female with just the capitalized version. So we'll create that. You can see it sort of changes the list as we go along. So now we're have a common representation. One thing to know about this process, the recoding dialog allows us to actually grab things and group similar values. It's not terribly clever in the way in which it does the grouping. So for instance here you can see that it got male, male, and male. And we can make it all change into one common representation. But it missed the M, right? That's a little bit too far away in terms of its string differencing. So let's just manually change that. And so now we've seen that we've collapsed all of the different representations. To finish things up, we basically have to choose what we're going to do with the resulting recoded data. We can create a script, a formula column, or in my, what I normally do is I'll just dump it into a new column. I'll almost never do it in place because that's destroying the raw data, and we very seldom want to do that. So let's create a new column. And you can see here that we've now got a representation that's all capitalized in a common way. Now notice that the one thing that did not get fixed is the particular records where perhaps we've got a mistake in the coding, not just simply using a different representation for the category, but for instance Carol may or may not be a male, David may or may not be a female, but it's pretty likely in particular for David that that's probably a boy's name. And there's no way that using the recoding proper will allow us to fix that. We would have to go in and find some other mechanism to identify the miscodings of the names and then do something else to solve that problem. But that's it. That's how you do recoding. It's a very common operation, and you'll see it as part of your data wrangling on a regular basis with real data.